Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Snigdha Mahapatra, intern at LexLink. In my previous video, I had talked about the doctrine of indoor management. And in this video, I will be talking about the exceptions to the doctrine of indoor management. It must be noted that the doctrine of indoor management is subject to certain exceptions. In other words, relief on the ground of indoor management cannot be claimed by an outsider dealing with the company under the following circumstances. The first exception is where the outsider had knowledge of irregularity. When an outsider who is entering into a transaction with a company has constructive or actual notice of the irregularity in relation to the internal management of the company, then he or she cannot seek remedy under the doctrine of indoor management. There can be some cases where the outsider is himself or herself a part of the internal procedure. For example, in the case of TR Pratt Bombay Limited versus ED Sassoon and Co Limited, Company A had lent money to Company B for mortgaging its assets. The procedure for the same, which was laid down in the articles, was for such a nature of transactions were not complied with. The directors of both the companies were the same. It was held by the court that the lender was aware of such an irregularity and hence the transaction was not binding. Another example in the same is, suppose X and Y are two directors of a company. A transfer of shares in the company had been approved by both X and Y. X was not validly appointed and Y was disqualified by reason of being the transferee itself. These material facts were known to the transferor of the shares. Hence, the transfer of shares was not binding and stood ineffective. Now, the second exception is forgery. It is pertinent to note that the doctrine of indoor management does not apply in cases where an outsider relies on a document which is forged in the name of the company. A company can never be held liable for the forgeries committed by its officers. For example, in the case of Rubain versus Great Finger Limited, the plaintiff was a transferee of the share certificate issued under the seal of the defendant company. The certificate was issued by the company secretary who has forged the signature of the two directors of the company and had affixed the seal of the company. The plaintiff in this case had contended that whether the signature was forged or genuine comes under the purview of the internal management of the company. Therefore, the company shall be held liable for the same. But it was held by the court that the doctrine of indoor management has never extended to cover a forgery. Lord Loreburn had interpreted that an outsider dealing with the companies are not bound to enquire into their indoor management and will not be affected by any irregularities of which they are unaware of. The next exception is negligence. Where an outsider entering into a transaction with a company could discover the irregularities in the management of the company, she would have made proper enquiries, then she cannot seek remedy under the doctrine of indoor management. The remedy under this doctrine is also not available where the circumstances and situations surrounding the contract were so suspicious that it invites enquiry, and the outsider of the company did not make efficient and efforts inquiry for the same. For example, in the case of Anand Bihari Lal versus Dinshaw and Co., the plaintiff had accepted a transfer of a company's property from the accountant of the company. It was held by the court that the transfer is void in such a case because the transfer was beyond the scope of the accountant's authority. It was the duty of the plaintiff to check the power of attorney that was executed in the favor of the accountant by the company. The next exception is acts that are beyond the scope of apparent authority. Acts done by an officer of a company which are beyond the scope of its apparent authority will not make the company liable for any of the defaults caused by the officer. In such a case, the outsider cannot seek any remedy under the doctrine of indoor management simply because articles did not delegate the power to the officer to do such acts. The outsider can only sue the company Under the doctrine of Indo management, if the officer had the delegated power to act on those grounds. It can be observed in the case of Sri Krishna versus Mondal Brothers. The manager of the company had the apparent authority under the memorandum and articles of association of the company to borrow money. The manager borrowed money on a hundi but did not place the same in the strong box of the company. It was held by the court that the company was bound to acknowledge the hundi as the director as the creditor had a bona fide claim for recovering the money on the grounds of fraudulent acts done by the officer of the company. The next exception is representation through articles. This exception is the most confusing and highly controversial aspect of the Turpin rule. Articles of association generally contain a clause of power of delegation. For example, in the case of Lakshmi Ratan Cotton Mills versus JK Jute Mills Co., there was a director B of the company. The company comprised of managing agents of which B was also a director. The Articles of Association authorized the directors to borrow money and also empowered them to delegate this power to one or more of them. B borrowed a sum of money from the plaintiff. Further, the company refused to be bound by the loan on the ground that there was no resolution passed directing to delegate the power to borrow given to B. Yet it was held in the case that the company was bound by the loan as the Articles of Association had authorized the director to borrow the money and delegate the power for the same. The doctrine of Indo management, which is a century old concept, has been knitted in accordance to the needs of the modern time. This doctrine is solely for protecting the interests and the rights of the third party and to whom the company stands indebted. The Turquoise rule has subsequently been applied in many Indian cases for protecting the interest of the third parties against the companies. In due course of time, for the correct application of this doctrine, several exceptions have been emerged to serve the purpose of the doctrine in the modern era. Acts like forgery, negligence, knowledge of irregularity are beyond the scope of the apparent authorities are a violation of the same and strikes a balance in providing reasonable protection to both the outsiders and the company.